Rachel and I should be together, and we should get some kind of message service.
Hang in there. It's gonna happen.
Well, okay, now how do you know that?
Because she's your lobster.
Oh, she's going somewhere.
Come on, you guys. It's a known fact that lobsters fall in love and mate for life. And you know what? You can actually see old lobster couples walking around their tank, you know, holding claws. Like... You have to picture lobsters.
Friends is my big comfort show that I watch all the time. Me and Blair love Friends, over to watch it. I would call him my lobster. The night Blair passed away, I went over to my dad's house and my sister put on a Friends episode because it's my comfort, and out of all 236 episodes, that episode was playing.
So Michelle, if you could kind of just bring us back to, you know, the beginning of your and Blair's relationship.
Me and Blair met my junior high school. We were 16 years old. I do have to say it wasn't love at first sight. I actually did not care for him very much. My friend Jen, though, pushed me to go on a date with him, and I finally did, and ever since then we were in love for 10 years.
So at what point did you guys, you know, realize that you were falling in love together?
Blair expressed to me his first time, which he was playing in an East-West football game, and that was like the best from, I guess, high school football, like would play, and they actually played out by Penn State, and I was 17 at the time, and me and my dad drove up there and watched his game. It ended up getting rained out like half the game, and he said the moment he was up in like the not the Poconos, but in the mountains, so he didn't have service. So that was our first time, I think, away from each other for so long, like a week of like no talking. And he said the moment he saw me, he knew it was real.
What about you? When did you know?
I think I knew it was real when we started talking about our future together. The one time we were sitting in his car at our high school and we were just talking, and we were talking about how many kids we wanted together, not thinking that this would ever really come true because we're high school, like how many high school sweethearts stay together. Mm-hmm. And then it happened and we got engaged, and that's when I knew our things that we're talking about 10 years ago are eventually now going to become true.
What was that like, you know, being with someone for almost 10 years and then, you know, playing out this dream that you did have?
I felt very, I guess, blessed because not many people have the strength to stay together for 10 years. When he proposed, I had no idea, and we're with our dog, and he threw the ball, and the tennis ball, I guess he switched it out, and when Wes came back, it said, "Will you marry me?" And I turned around, and he's on one knee at a park, and he was crying, I was crying, and...
So, after the engagement, you know, what's the plan from there? You have a wedding to plan, you know, where do you live? What's next?
As of right now, me and him live together in an apartment, but we had plans to move in with my mom, to save for a house, build a family. So we ended up moving back in with my mom. We had our wedding plans all set, and I was ready to take the next step into the future with him. And everything seemed as perfect as it can be.
If you could tell us about the night that he passed, was it like any other night? Did you know something was different? Did you feel something different?
The day started like any other day, but that night definitely felt different to me. We even both expressed it to each other. So we ended up going out to dinner. It was just a normal Friday night, and something about the dinner, it just felt different. We're sitting next to a young family, and we started talking about kids, and it just felt right. And then, like, walking back to his car, he squeezed my hand 3 times, which is our sign for "I love you." And we're kids, and we always race to the front door. And that night, we're racing to the front door, and I just remember him like tackling me, and it sounds stupid, like out of the movie, but it was just nice. And I had plans to go with my sister to the movies, and I actually debated on not going, and that's a regret that I always hold. And I ended up going, and after the movie, I texted him when the movie was about to start, just saying thank you for tonight, and I had a great night, and all he said back was, I love you too, Rose. And he called me Rose, and that's my middle name. And that was the last time I heard from him. But I think that was the perfect last text I could get from him. When I got home, I go upstairs, and in the den, everything's lined, like his computer's on, his phone's there, his planner, ESPN was on, everything seemed normal, but he wasn't there. And our dog didn't come greet us, which he's usually in the den, and I opened our bedroom door, and Wes starts running over to me, and that's when I looked up and saw Blair on the bed. I went over to him. I instantly knew something was wrong, and I touched his cheek, his lips. I shook him a little bit, and he wasn't responding. So I ran and got my mom, and she started trying to revive him, and I called 911.
So it like really seemed like there was something so special about that night.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me because when you date someone for 10 years, everything sort of becomes routine. And I mean, going out to dinner isn't as meaningful unless it's an anniversary or a celebration of some sort. And tonight was just a normal night out, but just something about it seemed very different to me. At that moment, everything changed. My entire life changed.
What did Blair end up passing of?
We didn't know, obviously, right then and there. It took a while for the autopsy to come back, but eventually he passed of cardiomyopathy, which is an enlargement of your heart.
So after all of this, what is life like after? What is life without Blair?
It's hard. It was hard. I was with him for 10 years, so I only knew myself, Michelle Battista, with Blair Gower. I had to reinvent myself, find myself as Michelle Battista, just as Michelle Battista without Blair Gower. And it was hard. It took a lot of extra work. I did a lot of journaling. I just really focused on myself, and I ended up going to therapy, which was the best thing, and she helped me get through certain milestones. I have learned that many of the stereotypes that they talk about while grieving are actually true. For instance, time heals all, and I would hate hearing that because I'm lost. I was in a fog, and I didn't know when the fog was going to clear, but with time it did clear, and time does heal all. We enter grief believing those things don't apply to us, I think because we're actually scared that they do. Maybe we don't want time to heal our pain because we think their memory will fade. But that's the thing I learned most, was just because the pain may subside a little doesn't mean that their memory totally fades away.
So it's been a little bit over 2 years now. What's now? What is dating? Is dating even in the scene of things for you? How do you allow yourself to even think of dating after something like this?
I didn't even think about dating, and I didn't think I would ever think about dating because I don't think I would have ever found a love that compared to Blair's. It was about maybe 10 months after Blair passed away where I was kind of dipping my toe into the dating field, and I remember I went on a date. We ended up kissing that night, and I just had a crazy amount of guilt just overcome me, and I realized Blair was not the last person to kiss me, and it was hard, and I felt guilty. I felt like I was cheating on him. But with time, that got easier, and eventually I did meet someone.
So maybe you could tell us about your boyfriend now?
Sure. He's amazing and not someone who I thought would come to me, and I partly think Blair has sent him to me because he's just so amazing with my past. And I went into dating thinking I was damaged because it's awkward to tell someone like, hey, I dated a guy for 10 years and we're engaged, and it's kind of intimidating. Like when someone dies, you put them on a pedestal, and it's hard to kind of, like, I would be intimidated if the roles were reversed. Like, I would be like, how can I? And Matt doesn't see it as a competition. He actually asks questions about Blair. He wants to know about my past. He lets me grieve when I need to grieve. He lets me talk about Blair, and he lets Blair still live on in my memories. He actually is now, like, he met Blair's family, and they all love him, and it's just something that I would never picture, honestly. I never thought I would find someone like him, so understanding, and brings on it's a different love. I love him just as much, it's just different. And that's another thing people were telling me in the beginning. Because I kept saying, I don't think I'll ever be in love again. Like, I'm just so happy, like, with Blair, and I don't think I even want to find love, but I'm glad Matt came around. And
it's truly amazing that you found someone that doesn't make you erase your old love, and he welcomes it into his life as well. It's almost like he doesn't just get you and your family, he gets Blair and his family as well, which is truly incredible, for someone to take on all of that.
And I feel as if someone who didn't love me truly, they wouldn't have taken on Blair and Blair's family, and that's how I know it's real. Like, he loves me, and he loves Blair and loves Blair's family, and I would know it wasn't right if the person didn't, because he was a part of my life for 10 years, and that just doesn't get erased.
With all the stories that we get in, we have so many stories about loss that people send in, and we want to encourage people to understand that life does move on, but you can also move on with life while keeping someone present that isn't here anymore. If you could just kind of tell us about other ways that you keep Blair present in your life.
I would say my biggest thing that I've learned actually is I always say move forward rather than move on, because you're really not moving on. You just continue your life forward, and you keep them alive, and you really, like, I would never move on from Blair. We currently right after Blair passed away, my family and
Okay.
after Blair passed away, his family and me created a scholarship in his name. He coached Neshaminy football, and that's where we went to high school. He started there as a water boy, played, then became a coach there after college, and so Neshaminy was a big part of his life, and football was a big part of his life. So we thought if we created a scholarship to help players to continue their college career in academics or sports, we give them a scholarship at the end of the season.
In Blair's name.
In Blair's name. The coach picks a player that he thinks that has Blair's qualities instilled in them.
That's amazing. For those of you that want to know more about the scholarship, we will have the links below to it if you want to donate to it. And there's also, I know you guys do a big tailgate every year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to say more about that.
So the Gowers, Blair's parents, kind of took their own, they sell tickets to Eagles games, Sixers games, the Flyers, and then I kind of wanted to do my own contribution of kind of what Blair would obviously love, and he loves the Eagles, and I host a tailgate every year down at the stadium, and we sell Eagles memorabilia. I can't say that word.
Yeah. Eagles memorabilia.
Yeah. We sell Eagles stuff, and a 50-50, and I invite all his friends, my friends. It actually, next year will be our third one, and it's getting bigger and bigger each year. We were able to give away so far at least over $10,000 worth of scholarships.
Wow, that's incredible. For those of you that want more information about that as well, make sure to follow us or just reach out to us. We'll be happy to put you in touch. With that, I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
For those of you that don't know, me and Michelle went to college together. Blair actually went to college with me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this story is a little bit more personal. So thank you. Thank you for telling your story. I think it's so important that people can have hope to find love again after such loss. To end this, I would love for you to just maybe give a last word of advice.
I mean, if this segment reaches one person and helps one person, then I'm happy, which is the reason why I did this in the first place.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For the haters, come on to it now or later. Yeah. It don't matter what your name is, share your story, we'll be waiting. Yeah. For the haters,